To the bone, city lights flicker when a freak calls home. No rest, no peace, just a mission's cruel grind. SCP shadows will drag you when you fall behind. While we got our chests in these haunted streets, cursed by the multicams and the streets. Feels like we're losing in the endless war. One man's curse leaves us bleeding sore.
That is cold, cold. Okay. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Your Local Cop Probably Sucks. I am a bit underslept, a little bit hungover. It's starting to rain outside. It is going to be a great day. Today we're going to the state of Virginia. It is a 60-round qual shot at distances of 7, 15, and 25 yards. On Virginia's official website, they have a couple different targets we can use for this qual, none of which we have, of course, so we will be augmenting a USPSA target to be as close to what they consider valid, and that target being an FBIQ target. Per Virginia's paperwork, anything in the bowling pin on an FBIQ is 5 points. Anything outside of that, but still in the silhouette, is 3 points. So what we're going to do today is on a USPSA target, anything in the C zone will be 5 points. Anything in the D zone will be 3 points. Anything off of that is obviously a miss. Out of a possible 300 points total, you will need 70% or more to pass. If you've seen the channel before, this is normally where we go into the rules. We're actually going to do that second today and go over our wild cards first. You'll see why here in a second. So the people have spoken. I put up a poll, and the top 3 is what we're going to go with today. Our first being subcompact. So we'll be shooting a small boy today. I'll be putting up my fancy Glock and opting to go with my wife's Gen 1 M&P Shield. And because of that, it actually opens up a couple more wild cards that have to come with that gun, such as we will be shooting irons only today because that's what that gun has. We will also be doing random reloads because 8 to 10 round magazines, it is what it is. You're going to have to reload in between some of these drills. The second wild card we have today is we'll be doing everything from a holster. That also comes with its own set of issues because the only holster I have for this gun is a right-handed appendix rig, which means we will also be doing everything from concealment because we kind of have to with this holster. Our third wild card is we will once again be losing these, which is going to be extra fun because my eyes already are seeing double a little bit this morning, so this is going to get nice and interesting. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. I'm sure we'll be fine. Maybe. I don't know. With that being said, we will now go over the rules that we normally always play by. And the first thing we're going to do with that is we're actually going to lose the left-handed rule today because, like I said, all we have is a right-handed holster. And on top of that, I've actually been leaning into this left-handed thing pretty hard for about 5 to 6 months now. And I have been wanting to do kind of just a checkup on my actual dominant hand, make sure I'm not losing any performance there, make sure nothing weird is going on there when I do eventually go back to my standard dominant hand as my shooting hand. So it'll be kind of interesting, just get a checkup on there. The other 2 rules we will be keeping though. So rule 2 that we normally always play by is we'll be doing it cold, no warm-ups. We're not going to dry fire it at home the night before. We're not going to try to game it. We're going to get to the range, staple up a target. We're going to get our paperwork, and we're just going to go. We're going to see what happens. And this is also a qual that we've never shot before. This is truly cold. We're just flying into this, no pun intended, maybe a little bit, pretty blind. All right. And the third rule that we always go by is no do overs, no mulligans, no alibis, no excuses, no blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a live target cam. You're going to see everything that we see as we film it in real time. If the target's ugly, if we find a way to somehow fail the qual, you're going to see it. Okay, for phase one in our first set of drills, we will start at the 7-yard line. For drill one, per Virginia's paperwork, we will draw and either fire 1 round in 2 seconds, or we can choose to fire 2 rounds in 3 seconds. We will mix and match these drills however we want until 6 rounds are fired.
Jesus. Better.
For drill two of phase one, we will draw and fire 2 rounds in 3 seconds. We will repeat this one 3 times for a total of 6 rounds, which is kind of odd because if that's one of the options for the first drill, I don't know. We'll talk about it later, but it's kind of odd.
All right.
For our third drill at 7 yards, we will draw, fire 6 rounds strong hand only, transfer the pistol to our weak hand, and fire another 6 rounds weak hand only. Going back to our wild cards, just mag capacity that's going to come into play here. There will be a reload somewhere in this drill out of necessity.
Okay.
Okay, for phase two and our next set of drills, we go back to 15 yards, and it starts the exact same way as phase one. From 15 yards, we will draw and either choose to fire 1 round in 2 seconds or 2 rounds in 3 seconds. We will mix and match these two options how we see fit until we reach 6 rounds. Sure, okay.
Ooh. My eyes are not wanting to play with me today. Okay. Left. Felt left. Might have been good. Should we just do singles for these? Do a bunch of singles? Left again. That was 3. 4. 5. That was low left, it felt. Okay. That was 6.
For our second drill at 15 yards, exact same as the 7-yard drills. We will draw and fire 2 rounds in 3 seconds. We will repeat this 3 times for a total of 6 rounds. So we're starting to get a little monotonous here. Like I said, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, God. My eyes just went, everything went away for a second. These eyes suck. I want new eyes. These are terrible.
For our third and final drill at 15 yards, we will draw and put 6 rounds on target in 12 seconds.
Terrible draw. Probably terrible group. Grip starting to fall apart. I'm still hanging in there. Still hanging in. All right.
And for phase 3, our final phase, we go all the way back to 25 yards. This phase has only one drill. We will draw, put 6 rounds on target standing. We will put 6 rounds on target kneeling, and then 6 rounds on target prone. This is the part of the video where I have to give a speech about the range that I go to, not allowing prone, so we have to augment this ever so slightly. So instead of prone, we're going to go to a seated position because reasons. Yeah, just my range does not allow prone. We got to play by their rules because I don't want to get kicked out. It's a decent range. Yada, yada, yada. Anyways, for this drill, we have 75 seconds total.
Blurry as that was low. I think that was 6. Was that 6? Fuck. Yeah, that was 6. Probably should have adjusted that camera angle for the ground shots. My bad, y'all. Ooh, we fell apart. Okay. Go score.
All right, so we were holding pretty decent. We were holding decent there from 7 to 15 yards, and then 25. Oof. Yeah, we kind of fell apart there. Grip fell apart. Eyes definitely checked out. Things were getting pretty blurry back there, and yeah, we fell apart. We wound up having a couple misses, short sight radius, blah blah blah. Also got reminded that shooting 124 grain NATO spec ammo out of a subcompact is still not pleasant. It's not really that fun. The more I shoot, the more I remember small guns are kind of trash. But anyways, with all that being said, we still managed to pull down at 84%, which is crazy because when I initially saw that target, I really thought we were going to fail that. Even with it being a slightly reduced target size than what's allowed, I'm surprised we passed that, but I'm glad we did. With that being said, I did still want to see kind of how this qual would look out of a duty belt, actually being able to maybe see a little bit. So we decided to run it back with the Glock 44 because, quite frankly, I did not bring enough 9mm to the range to do this twice. But we did put the holster back on our left-hand side because I still do want to train the left hand today too. I do want to see what this looks like when I can actually see my sights. That might be neat. And another cool thing is there's still a little bit of a handicap going in here because the 22 I have, if you've seen some of my previous videos, for one, it's not that accurate. It's some trash barrel mystery 22 that's been in my car a while. And also, the Glock 44 is so light. I think it's around a pound loaded that just any bad influence on that trigger can pull your shots off target pretty quick. And it's another reason I like training with that thing. So, duty belt, Glock 44, back on the left hand. We're going to throw the glasses back on so we can actually see. We're going to run it back somewhat standard to Virginia's paperwork or how these officers would be running it. We're going to see what happens.
So, okay. Well, let's go score.
Okay, so like I said, especially at the 15 and 25 yards, those 22s get kind of hard to keep in there. There's ammo's not that accurate, and it's pretty easy to put extra influence on that trigger with the gun being so light. With that being said, I think we had 3 misses. I'll check the footage here in a second and get an official count, but I think we had 3 misses, and we wound up scoring a 91% on that. It's either 90 or 91%, or somewhere in between. I'll get the math here, and it'll be like. Anyways, so let's talk about it. Things I did like about this qual. I like that it didn't start at point blank range. I get frustrated with a lot of these quals because the first 5, 10, 20, sometimes majority of the rounds start at like 1, 3, 5 yards. With I could if I can just press my gun out and almost touch the target, what are we really testing here? Because you've seen it. I do it on purpose. A lot of these 3 yard drills, I'm not even looking at sights because I don't have to. And it's not really testing any skill to be as far from the target as I am from my camera right now. Like, and just point at it with a gun. You're not testing anything. So I do like that this drill started at least 7 yards, which quite honestly is about the closest I'll train on pistol, even in my own free time training, doing my own stuff. I prefer, 7 at the very closest. I prefer training 10, 15. Sometimes I'll work just marksmanship at 25 yards all day because that's when you really start gathering data of what you and your gun are doing together. 3 yards isn't showing you anything. So I do appreciate that this started at a somewhat respectable distance from the target, where you actually kind of have to start putting stuff together correct to get hits in that A zone. What I didn't like about this, the writing for it is just kind of lazy. The first drill of phase 1 and phase 2, the 1 round in 2 seconds, or 2 rounds in 3 seconds. It's kind of like, I don't know. You figure it out. I would have preferred, a hard outlined direction there of exactly what they wanted of me. I kind of don't like these ambiguous direction for these quals, and there's been other states that have had it too, and it just feels lazy to me. I guess I would have preferred something more concrete. But other than that, um, not terrible. Not terrible. I'm sure with a couple more hours of sleep and maybe a couple less whiskey cokes last night, I could have cleaned this up some. But here we are. So even with a good amount of wild cards and stuff working against us, and a not fun to shoot gun, we did all right. We still came in about 14% over the minimum. That's another thing I'd like to see a little bit higher. Maybe push that up to 80%. Maybe even higher than that. Make them sweat a little bit. But other than that, not the worst thing ever. Definitely not a Kentucky. Uh, but anyways, speaking of Kentucky, I am working on getting Eddie back out. I saw y'all's comments. We're actually getting him set up with a weapon light and a holster. And it is my goal to get him to the range more. Once I can teach him, some pretty solid holster draw without blowing his jewels off, because he will be carrying appendix. He's decided. I do think we're going to see more of Eddie at the range. I think it'll be interesting. Also, I'll be putting a link to his channel, but Firearms and Fitness also has committed to do the Virginia qual with me, so I think he'll be dropping a video on the same qual with his thoughts and how he did and what he thinks about it. So that'll be interesting. Do a little Not quite a collab, but a kind of co-release on the same topic. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. What else? Yeah, I think that's all I got for today. I'm gonna take some ibuprofen and get my head right. I'll be putting up a call as always for next week. What state you'll want to see, what wild cards. You're starting to get the idea by now. We're falling into a rhythm. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I think that's all I got. So until next time, be good out there. If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, you're just gonna have to rhythm with the tism with a little bit of a headache and double vision because you gotta have fun out there, right? ADHD out. I'll see y'all later. Our second wild card is. Will you shut up? Knock it up. Fucking dogs. There's a dog outside and they want to go talk to it. Of course. The only holster I have for this gun is an appendix carry right-handed holster. So, will you lay down, please? Lay down.